Morning, how are we doing? Welcome. This morning we're talking about how do you make the algorithm your ally. So wherever you're joining, welcome, whether you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram. How do we actually make the algorithm work for us? And if you spend any amount of time scrolling or trying to hunt out what to do on social media, you will have a scenario where you are basically confronted with a million different things that you need to do to make the algorithm love you. If you want distribution, you post at this time, you need to post 14 times a day, 3 reels, all this stuff. I want to simplify it, because when you understand how social media companies make money, you can kind of algorithm proof your business. And I want to talk about how you do that this morning, because it will save you, you won't have to lose your hair like me, basically, on social media. So if we think about how social media makes money, they rent our attention to companies. So ads, LinkedIn has a few quirks with, and Meta Verified and, Twitter Premium and stuff like that, X Premium or whatever it's called. There is those kind of subscriptions, but fundamentally they make money by selling our eyeballs or renting our eyeballs to companies. And now their algorithms have got very, very sophisticated. So algorithms on Facebook can know that I'm interested in very specific topics, very specific interests, and serve me adverts that are way more targeted than ever before. On Facebook, which has a really clever algorithm, I actually enjoy seeing the ads because they're very, very relevant. So they rent our attention. You know this already. So what you need to think about is how social media will value our content that we put out there. How's it going to value our content? And it's actually really, really simple. The content, if you think about it, it's a little bit of a scam in one sense. They convince us to create content that keeps the users on the platform. So we are basically, by posting content, making Facebook money, because they can sandwich ads between our content. But they need content that basically helps them achieve their goal of getting the maximum possible retention of users. How do they keep people on the platform? Now, you know this, but you've probably never joined it up with your own content strategy. And if you do, you'll make the algorithm your ally. So it's very, very simple. The platform wants people to stay on the platform. They don't want people to leave. So your content, in order for the platform to favor your content more, it has to keep people on the platform more than other people's content, because it's a bidding war in it. If you think about it, let's say there's 1,000 posts, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, whatever, will order them and present them on the basis of interest, but also on the ones that have done well before. So when you're thinking about your posts, you've got to think about, how is this helping Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, wherever, achieve its goals? Because you have to create a win-win. The platform has to win and you have to win. And I want to explain how you win. But first, let's look at how the platform wins. The platform wins if you keep people hanging around you, the relevant people. So it's looking at how long people spend on your posts, and it's looking at how deeply they engage. Simple principles. If you remember these principles, you don't have to worry about all the 30-page algorithm studies and God knows what. Right? Simply that. Are you keeping people engaged with you? And it will make your post go further or shorter based on how good you are. Now think about, let's make this more practical. In order for you to do that, for your content to rank more highly, to be more valuable to the platform itself, in order for that to happen, you have to do something very, very simple. And it is really, really simple. You have to I just switched mic. You have to keep people on your post longer. But let's just go one step earlier. You have to get people to stop scrolling. If you don't get people to stop, they don't dwell. And if they don't dwell, they don't engage. So if you think about it as like a snowball, it starts with, are you stopping people scrolling? Are you stopping people scrolling? So have a look and audit your posts and go, one, does this look like it would catch somebody's eye in the feed? And two, would it catch the right person's eye in the feed? Would they know it's for them? If you don't pass that test, that cascades down to actually the algorithm thinks nobody's stopping for that post of Dean's, so let's not prioritize it. And it's over before it started. It's over before it started. Then let's say you do stop them scrolling. The algorithm's going to judge, well, how long did they hang around? So is the hook that they see, is what they see appealing enough when they pay a bit more closer attention that they want to know more? So that's why hooks, visual, audible, all of those kind of things, and the what's in it for me factor becomes really important. Then it will be about how deeply do they engage? Do they just like it? Do they do nothing and move on? Do they like it and move on? Do they comment and move on? Do they send it? Do they save it? So start thinking about, why would somebody comment? When you do this and you actually think about it carefully, you actually start to discover the answers. Why do I comment on a post? Why? What makes me want to comment? And if you ask that same question of your own posts, why would somebody save something? Well, people save something because it's got a load of useful information that they want to come back to later. So does your post contain a lot of useful information that people will want to come back to later? So you start thinking about all of these things, and you can actually break down, if you just pause and go, let's think about this in logical order. I've got to stop people scrolling, get them hooked enough to want to consume what I've shared, and then prompt them to do something with it. You break those down and start asking those questions, you'll start to understand, that's what I need to do. And the algorithms fundamentally don't care in one sense about what you've written, don't care about the graphics. It's just about, did you keep people on our platform? Did they spend more time on it? Did they get more deeply engaged in it? And if you did that, we will promote you more. It can be that simple. Whether it's video, carousels, whether it's text only, whether it's whatever post, if it does those things, you're good. So how do you do that? And this is where it becomes back to one fundamental thing. Or there may be two. I like saying one fundamental thing. You have to know what your audience wants. Now, Kevin McDonald, friend of mine, he's on LinkedIn, he's in health tech. We had a conversation about this in Cambridge the other day. And there is a difference between what the audience wants and what you probably want to say. There's a difference between what an audience will pay for and what you can provide in services, and you've got to show them why they should pay for the services. But there's wants. What's your audience's wants? Sometimes the audience's wants are not what they need. And so sometimes you go, yeah, this will be good for them. You've got to figure out what they want to consume, because it's television. If you go, I've made the greatest movie ever, and it's a weird, abstract concept and story, but it's so cleverly done, it's so good, it's so deep. But the audience goes, yeah, I want explosions and robots and time travel. It will be very difficult for you to twist people to say, I want you to come to what I've made. No. You have to make what the audience wants. So you have to think about, how do I bring them in based on their want? and give them something that's valuable based on what they actually need. So this comes down to get the algorithm on your side, helping you and working with you. You've got to understand your customer. What motivates them? What gets them to stop and pay attention? What do they want right now? And that is a skill you should have. If you do not understand your customer, God help you all the way through your journey. Content hard. Imagine your sales being hard, because you'll get people coming to calls and you'll try and put a round square peg in a round hole. So think about, what does my audience want? Because up front in your content, you've got to give them a payoff. What's in it for them? They need to see it. They need to know it. So you need to know your customer really well, and not just know them and go, oh yeah, it's this person in this role, and this is their location, this is their age range. You have to get inside their head and think about their day to day and go, what's going on for them right now? And start to make stuff based on what they're dealing with right now. That's the bit that makes the algorithm work for you, is you understanding what holds the attention of your customer. So if they have a strategy problem, but actually they're focused on how do I go viral, maybe you need to go. Maybe you need to talk about the viral piece. I don't know. Whatever that is in your world, because a lot of people who watch me and follow me aren't content creators per se, but there's things that you know that they need to solve their problem, and there's things that they want, and you have to match those two up. You lead with what they want. Sell what the saying is: sell them what they need, and give them what they want. Sell them what they want and deliver what they need. Now, so that's a really big part of this. If you know your customer, know what gets their attention, know what they'll value, and you put that out there, you will stop them scrolling. You will engage them. You will get them engaging back. But you've got to give them what they want. One more thing I wanted to throw in here before I sign off today is, I want to invite you to come to Manchester next week. I've got a few places in our class in Manchester next week which I want you to come to. I put a link in the live somewhere. You also need to understand that when you're delivering that content, when you're thinking about your customer and what you've got to do, and you're optimizing it for that dwell time and deeper engagement, you've got to think about the full human being you're talking about. Yeah, not just the facts and the information. I call it APE. They need to see a unique angle on it. They need to see your perspective or your opinions, beliefs about it, and they need to see it coming from your experience. A lot of people will share stuff that they've heard before and it feels like it's Google answers or AI answers. They need to have a bit of your personality in that, and that's where you put a unique angle on it, your opinions, perspective, and share some of your experience, client stories, past experiences, things that have happened to you, so that you're delivering value in a way that's coming from you. So you're not just falling into the trap of it could have come from anyone. Now, this topic, make the algorithm your ally. Holly Hayes, who's on our training team, she's been working with us for 2 or 3 years now. She was Stephen Bartlett's content manager. So anything you saw on social media was created by Holly for him. And she managed his socials. And she's going to do a whole session next week, next Wednesday in central Manchester. I'll be there and Dave on the team will be there. And she's going to talk about in depth, way more detail than I've just done, about how you make the algorithm your ally, the practicalities of it, the depth of it. So if you want to come, there is a link somewhere in here. There's only about 5 or 6 places left. But it's a full day, lunch is included. So you'll be hanging out with me, Dave, and Holly, and there'll be a ton of other people there as well. But if you want to kind of get into this space, I'm doing a session on your £1 million message. And that's really about understanding your message and your customer deeply enough that you can create the content, you can create the outreach, you can create the landing pages, you can do all of that stuff so it actually cuts through all of that noise. And then Holly's going to do 2 sessions, one of them being on making the algorithm your ally, so that you can understand how all of that fits together. The aim is we want to make it simpler for you, because I know myself, when I started out, I started following all this algorithm stuff, and it can feel overwhelming. It's not instinctive. You can't just write a post and comply with the algorithm, because there's so many freaking rules and so many tips out there. It's like, no, don't do that, do this. Don't do that, do this. So what we've endeavored to do is go, if you have these core principles and you apply those core principles, you'll do okay. So come to Manchester, get your ticket today while there's some left. My youngest son, Aidan, has been ringing and contacting people who've been to our stuff before and inviting people. He's learning the ropes here, and it's fun to watch him do it. One more thing I would say about that whole algorithm piece, but Holly will go into way more detail than I can today. Remember, the way the algorithms work is they feed the audience what they consume. So I watch a lot of YouTube videos, gaming YouTube videos. And so what happens is I get in my feed more YouTube gaming videos. And I spoke to a bunch of marketing people yesterday in Cambridge about this, that actually often what people want is more of exactly what got them in the first place. And as I know, I like to talk about lots of different things. I like to talk about lots of different things. I like to do it in different ways. But ultimately, if you want to grow and you want to succeed, actually you want to, if you gain followers from a post, it means I liked that piece of content. I'd like to see more like this. And so actually making more like that actually becomes really important for building that engaged community. Otherwise, you could have a scenario where somebody comes because of post A, and then you go and flutter off to another type post B, and it's completely different. And what happens is they go, I'm not interested in that. And what you're doing is effectively attracting ghost followers. I know, I've done it. I made that mistake, jumped around. So you end up with ghost followers. You've got all these numbers, but actually the numbers don't go anywhere. And the numbers don't see anything because they came in once and then you vanish from their feed because that topic you've shifted to, or that way you've done it differently, hasn't resonated. So I just thought I'd share that with you this morning. Make the algorithm your ally and go get it to Manchester. I'll see you there. We can chat.